Hey guys, so I've made it very clear in my previous videos that the market is bleeding right now, but I've noticed a bit of a trend. So let's take a look at my screen. We can see who are the biggest players vulnerable to this market. So the first one is obviously your Bitcoin plays. Okay, so you've got Bitcoin mining, you've got Hut 8, you've got Ehang and Matterport. So your Bitcoin plays are taking a hit. We know when the market is risk off and in an uncertain environment. And before I do that, let me show you this actually. So just to make sure everybody understands we're in an uncertain market, look at the VIX. We're up 25%, jumped up 25% in our VIX, which takes us to a level which we have not seen since we've not seen highs like this since, let's plot this, since going back to May. So we've not seen highs like this going back until May, okay? So, and before that, even March, May time. So the VIX is very high, jumped up 25%, and that is what's leading to the red in the market. So this is the theme I've spotted. So we can see the Bitcoin plays are down. We know when the market is uncertain, momentum moves away from crypto, right? Nobody wants to keep loads of money in crypto, especially at institutions, hedge funds, and pension funds. The other theme we can see here are the SPAC plays. Ehang, Matterport, Astra, these are taking a hit, and I've got a strong conviction in Matterport. I made it clear that I sold out my position at a fairly large portion of my portfolio in Matterport. I sold out a little bit before the run actually, so a little bit early, although I realized a good profit on that. I'm looking for another entry into Matterport. I do have long-term conviction in the stock, although I'm more happy around the $15, $16 mark, so I need to wait for it to come down before I start nibbling. So you can see there, you've got Astra, then you've got some Bitcoin plays again, Raya, Mara, and then you've got Chinese plays. So you've got your Neos, your Barbers, etc. are all down. SOS, you've got Momentum, Affirm, Palantir. Again, all of these are the high-risk stocks getting absolutely hammered. And even the solid stocks are getting hammered. Enphase, you can see Coinbase, obviously, with its relationship with crypto. Lemonade, another high risk. Tesla, 3% down. This is bloody. And if we get a good few days of this, then we're going to be back at levels where we start talking about a 5% correction in the S&P, and we'll need to start buying some dips. So as I've said in my other videos, I'm putting cash on the side. I'm getting ready to start nibbling, really. I won't go in heavy just yet. These things need to get a bit cheaper. If you look at NEO, that's been cheaper before. You can see from its 52-week high, we're still not close to the lows. You can easily get that in the 30s. You can see other solid plays. Affirm's been much lower. I mean, that just ran up recently. You can see Palantir has been much lower. Definitely, you can see Palantir cheaper. You'd want to be back at the $20 level in order to get into that. Enphase, I was buying this in much lower as well. So again, something I'm keeping a keen eye on. I do want a bigger position in Enphase. I've got a big one, but I do want that to take up a bigger part of my portfolio. If that starts to fall down a bit more. Coinbase, again, another one I wouldn't mind still averaging down a little bit on that one. If that falls a bit more, you'd probably have to get to 220-ish level for me to buy anything seriously. Lemonade, I always like it below 70. Cost base is below 70 for me, so I'd want that to fall a bit more for buying into Lemonade. Tesla's a bit of a weird one. I mean, obviously, psychologically for me, I had the opportunity to buy in the 590s in March. Do I want to be buying in at 730? Not heavily. I'll always nibble on Tesla and try to dollar cost average. But for me to kind of build a heavy position into it, I'd want to see that definitely under 700s. And I don't think that's beyond reach for us over the next couple of days, really, if this contagion carries on from China and the FOMC or / talks around tapering. Monday.com down 3%. Clover down 3%. Body, another one that's going to get hit. Another SPAC play is going to get smashed. I mean, look at that. It's well below the notional price for a SPAC at $10. I mean, super cheap. Snowflake down 2%. Snap. Robinhood's getting hit. Again, you want to see that lower. We've seen that in the 30s. 35 is kind of when things get interesting for Robinhood. TTCF down to 19.66 after doing well and getting some momentum. Again, you'd want to see that lower, but again, another SPAC play. Everything is getting wiped out. Nvidia, another decent play, but obviously the chip shortages are going to be weighing on that one for a while. Google is your normal safe cash play. Even that's down 2% today. Twilio, Etsy, another one I'm interested in. Again, I'd want to see that cheaper. Sub 200, it gets interesting for Etsy. PayPal, Amazon, Square. And by the way, this is what you can see me doing, guys, is I'm just making a mental note of the stock prices and I'm putting in my head target prices. You saw me doing that out loud of where it gets interesting for me. And I've broken that down in another video of what to do in an uncertain market and what you need to be preparing to do now. And what you can see me doing is as we're going through this, I'm looking at the share prices and I'm going, okay, I like Enphase, but I want it below 120, right? So I need that to come down a bit more. And at 120, I'm going to buy this much. At 110, I'm going to nibble a bit more. Below 100, I'm throwing the dough at it, right? That's the key. So that's what you want to be doing. Go down your high conviction plays like this. Have a look at it. Ignore the percentage change. They're going to scare you. Look at the pricing and just try to ascertain, is that a good price? Is that cheap? I mean, Apple, we know we want that under 120 because we had the opportunity to buy that under 120 in March time. So not exciting yet. Airbnb, not too exciting. Corsair 28, again, you can get that much cheaper. So this is what I mean. As I'm going through here, I'm not seeing too many deals jump out at me. I'm not desperate to buy any dip right now. I think there's a lot more pain in the market. Either there is going to be a lot more pain in the market, or we're just going to head straight back up and all this fear is a bunch of FUD. China prints $300 billion and we're back to the races, right? So for now, I'm holding fire. I'm going down the list. Can't see any amazing deals now. If I get desperate or if you feel a bit of FOMO, if that's your personality, just nibble. Buy something, right? Because human nature, you'd be like, oh, I don't want to miss out. I don't want to miss out on the dip. Take a little bit of cash, buy a little bit, nothing major, just to kind of remind your brain that, yeah, we have bought the dip, you've done something, and you feel a little bit better for it. But the market, in my opinion, could get a lot more red this week. We're still on Monday. If China doesn't solve out this contagion issue quickly, and if the FOMC comes out with any, hawkish talk around tapering, that could be a bit of a double whammy. So definitely kind of keeping on the sidelines right now. I'm definitely not placing any trades, no short-term trades for me right now. In my high conviction plays, I've got some cash sat on the side. If we see some serious dips and Matterport gets to 15, 16, if I see me some Enphase out, 130s, I'll start nibbling. Robinhood's in the 30s, I'll start nibbling. Coinbase 220s, mid to like 225-ish, I'm nibbling. Lemonade 65 gets interesting for me. Neo, normally I'd be buying that around $30, but given the China FUD, I don't really want to be topping up my Neo position right now. What else have we got on this list? Let's have a look. What else? Palantir, run up quite a bit for me. Palantir will need to be around 22 if we ever see it for me to get excited about Palantir. Tesla, we spoke about Tesla. What else have we got? Roku. Roku's another big position of mine. Where would I want Roku? Yeah, Roku's it's taking a little bit of hit, actually. Roku could be one to potentially start looking at nibbling. Quite well off our highs on Roku. Roku ran up to 490 at one point, so within the last year. So Roku could be an interesting one. I'm going to put Roku on my watch list. Disney, another one I kind of, it's a safe play. If it gets cheap, it'll probably be something I could average a little bit into, but it's not my massive high conviction. Corsair, I've got a decent sized position in Corsair. Would have to get much cheaper for me to get excited about Corsair. Sitting at 28.69. Yeah, I'd want Corsair 22, 23s if it gets there. I'll be interested. Walgreens, Zoom Info. Never quite built a position in Zoom Info. Always admired the stock. I've used the software before in previous companies I've ran. We like it. It's useful. It's a very useful tool, like collecting email addresses and enriching content data for a lot of SaaS companies. It's a very useful tool. Peloton, staying away from Peloton for now. Not having a great time. Lucid surprisingly up. So the three you've got up are Lucid, Uber, and Beyond, bucking the trend. Surprised with Beyond, although they've taken such a beating over the long run that perhaps that's just that. And you can see here, if you look at these over here, they've started edging up slightly. So you can see these stocks slightly edging up. I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen. The market's going to be a bit of a yo-yo, right? That's just how we're going to be. Don't be surprised if I post this video and then the market's turned green and then tomorrow it falls red again and then we turn green by the end of the day. It's what we saw in March, right? Around uncertainty. When the markets are uncertain, that's what happens. You've got a whole bunch of pension funds, institutions, hedge funds, high net worth individuals running around with millions of billions of dollars, not knowing where to put it. One minute they put it in some Bitcoin, next minute they panic, put it into some Apple, then Apple's going down and they put it in somewhere. They can't just leave it to the side, right? Because their LPs will say to them, you've got to invest this money. We're not giving you this money to put into your bank account. You need to put it into the market. So they end up having to put it somewhere, but they don't really have any conviction anywhere to put it. So yeah, don't be surprised if we have a lot of those ups and downs over the next few days. But the key is going to be solve the root issue. And if you look at the root issues the market's concerned about, are the same ones we've been discussing for a long time: inflation, COVID recovery, labor market recovery. On top of that, we now have this debt ceiling crisis, which I'm really hoping gets resolved mid-October. I'm really hoping these politicians can stop playing chicken and get this issue resolved so we can move on. And then on top of that, we got this Evergrande issue, which has come out of the blue. Hopefully, it's just another Archegos type issue where it's swept under the rug within a week. But it has the potential of being a Lehman Brothers. So from an Archegos point of view to Lehman, where are we going to end up on that scale? That's what's going to determine how red this market is and how long it's red for. Either way, as investors, we need to be prepared. If we turn green and we carry on going, that's fine. If we go horizontal, we should be fine with our positions. And if it goes down, we need a strategy of what to do next. So go watch that video. If you haven't watched that video, please go watch it. It will give you a great plan, not just for today, but this is how the market operates. Every so often, you get a piece of news which creates uncertainty, and you need to know that game plan like the back of your hand so you don't panic. You're like, I've seen this before. I know what to do. Let's execute. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video and you like my perspectives, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.